Well, hello and welcome to Newsround, the programme that keeps you up to date with all the toing and froing in the aerospace and defence markets of Africa, Arabia and South Asia. I'm Alan Peaford.
And I'm Marcella Nethersole. We will be hearing about the future of aviation from the Airbus Summit, where Mark Pilling has been reporting on how the European manufacturer sees green everywhere.
And I'm going to be talking to the CEO of the Abu Dhabi-based Royal Jet, the world's largest Boeing business jet operator. I'm talking to him about why he's moving aircraft down the road to Dubai. And our correspondent in Addis Ababa, Kaleyesus Bekele, will be explaining why IATA was praising Ethiopian for its pandemic performance, but critical of the Ethiopian government for slowing down recovery.
And we will also hear from Chuck Grieve about how an independent MRO operator is scoring big in Africa with a Chinese customer.
Well, all this and the news headlines after this short break.
And welcome back. Here are the news headlines. Days after the government announced that its asset modernisation plan of the Airport Authority of India has approved the privatisation of 13 more airports by next year. The 6 big airports are Amritsar, Bhubaneswar, Indore, Raipur and Varanasi. There will also be 7 smaller ones, including Jabalpur and Gaya. The World Tourism Organization is stepping in to help Africa realise its potential and has signed an MOU with the African Airlines Association, AFRA, to work more closely together and strengthen the relationships between the aviation and tourism sectors. The two sides will be working together to stimulate the relationships between aviation and tourism across the continent. The board of Indian budget airline SpiceJet has confirmed it is transferring its cargo and logistics business to its subsidiary Spice Express. There will be a reissuance of shares to reflect the change. Bestfly Cabo Verde has received its third ATR 72-600 from aircraft leasing company Elix Aviation. It will provide inter-island services in Cape Verde. The contract will be operated by TATV, a scheduled and charter passenger and cargo airline based in Praia. Nuno Pereira, executive director and founder of Bestfly, said the airline has broadened out, and it's not just an Angolan company, but is now regionally with intra-island flights in Cabo Verde. He added its commitment to the Cape Verde and its people continues to be total, with a permanent operation in the country. 2 people died in Libya in September after helicopters belonging to the Libyan National Army collided 130 kilometres southeast of Libya's second city, Benghazi. Both Mi-8 helicopters were badly damaged, but the occupants of the second helicopter survived. Rolls-Royce has made a first test flight of its Axel programme Spirit of Innovation, their 400-kilowatt electric record-seeking aircraft. Warren East, CEO of Rolls-Royce, said the company is focused on producing the technology breakthrough, society and the needs of decarbonisation and the transport across the air, land and sea sectors to capture the economic opportunity of the transition to net zero. Aircraft chartering and sales company Zila Aviation has entered a strategic partnership with Tanzania's Precision Air to act as the general representative for the leasing Precision Air's aircraft, crews and maintenance and insurance to other airlines. The new Gulfstream G700 has set its first ever city pair speed records from Savannah in the USA to Doha in Qatar and then from Doha to Paris. The fully outfitted production test aircraft, powered by Rolls-Royce's Pulse 700 engine, connected Savannah to Doha, a distance of 12,428 kilometres, in 13 hours and 16 minutes. The aircraft then set another city par from Doha to Paris, flying 5,469 kilometres in 6 hours and 15 minutes. Clear signs that recovery is coming. Emirates has begun a worldwide campaign to recruit 3,000 cabin crew and 500 airport service employees to join its Dubai hub over the next 6 months. Interested candidates can find out more about the job requirements and submit their application on its Group Careers website. Now, we reported in our last programme about the Airlines Association of Southern Africa and its CEO search. Well, we're delighted to hear that Aaron Munetsi, the former South African Airways executive who has been with AFRA in recent years, has been appointed with immediate effect. And we wish Aaron the best of luck. And finally, with Expo 2020 Dubai officially opening today, the 1st of October, Etihad Airways is giving all of its guests travelling into or via Abu Dhabi a complimentary ticket to the cultural gathering. The first World Expo to be hosted in the Middle East will be the largest event ever staged in the Arab world and offers innovation and sustainability to architecture and new opportunities. 192 countries are taking part in the event that will run until the 31st of March 2022. And Alan, I expect you have a ticket, don't you?
Yeah, you're right, Ella. I am very excited about Expo 2020. It may be a year late because of COVID, but it looks like everything is in place. All we need now are the visitors. And one Abu Dhabi company is doing its bit. RoyalJet, the VVIP luxury private aviation business, has announced it's establishing a base at the Al Maktoum Airport at Dubai World Centre. We have Rob DiCastri, the CEO of RoyalJet, on the line from Abu Dhabi. Rob, tell us about this Dubai move.
Yeah, it's exciting, Alan. It's a big step for us because, of course, our base is generally here in Abu Dhabi at both International and the Bateen City Airport. But especially with Expo coming, we know that traffic is going to really go through the roof. It's an amazing event that's going to be going on. As a UAE entity, of course, we want to support the country in its efforts to make it a success. I think bringing in the VIP traffic, we can play a big part in that. As you know, we have the biggest fleet of Boeing business jets in the world. So we have anywhere from 19 to 52 seats. So we can bring in some large groups, especially through the VIP terminals at Maktoum Airport, that kind of thing. And so it's really a move to support Expo, but it's also a move that really is in response to the amount of traffic that's coming and going from Dubai, and really has been throughout the pandemic. They've really been able to keep traffic going and even increase traffic through this period. Dubai is obviously a very attractive city for tourism, for business, that kind of thing. And so being there to help with capacity, to bring more visitors in, to bring more spend into the country, it's our responsibility as a UAE entity. So we take that very seriously. Of course, it's good for us as well. Of course, it's revenue generator. I'm not gonna lie about that. It's positive for everyone. We think it's a win-win that having aircraft out of our fleet over there to serve those customers, rather than ferrying in and out, we can go direct. We can just help with that capacity that's required there, because it's going to be at unprecedented levels, I'm sure. I know that unprecedented is a word that's been used a lot these days, but Expo sounds very exciting.
Well, thanks, Rob. You're right. That is tremendously exciting. Ella.
Sustainability is very much on everyone's lips right now, and the aerospace industry is clearly stepping up its actions. Nowhere more so than at Airbus. Mark Pilling has been in Toulouse at the Airbus Summit, and he has this report.
In a high-powered summit held here at its sprawling Toulouse base in late September, Airbus put its green cards on the table. The European aerospace behemoth is committing itself to a future where electricity and hydrogen power sources and some sustainable aviation fuel along the way deliver a decarbonised aviation industry. As Guillaume Faury, Airbus Chief Executive, explained, his vision is that the industry can take the energy and the incredible ability of coping with the COVID-19 crisis and apply this to the challenge of global warming. And there isn't much time, as the target for achieving carbon neutral emissions is 2050. For aviation, said Faury, that's tomorrow. Airbus says it will more than play its part in hitting these targets. And the tagline of the summit, pioneering sustainable aerospace, blazed out from every screen. However, as summit host Julie Kitcher said, she's the Airbus Executive VP Comms and Corporate Affairs, she said the entire ecosystem needs to come together in an unparalleled act of cooperation to make it happen. Her ambition is that the summit would create a space for the difficult but the must-have conversations to get balls rolling. One of the most critical conversations is how does Airbus reprogram its manufacturing muscle memory from making airliners that burn Jet A1 fuel to making aircraft powered by, most probably, liquid hydrogen. Fowry is relatively unfazed by the technology of hydrogen, believing the investment needed in fuel production, airports and related infrastructure is likely to be as much as great, if not greater. This is a massive undertaking, but Fowry has a timetable. He believes the propulsion technology to develop an all-new airliner, possibly even in the 150 to 200 seat airliner class, to enter service around 2030 is possible. This means selecting the power plant and fuel tech by 2025. Then there will be 2 years of choosing partners and suppliers, with a project launch in 2027 or 2028. Yes, there will be major certification challenges with the new technology, but development would take 7 to 8 years, giving the 2035 date. This is fantastically ambitious and certainly risky, but as Fowry told the summit, his dream is for humans to be able to fly anywhere across the globe in a safe, affordable manner without making a trace, without making a scar on the earth. The mighty Airbus machine is being mobilised by Fowry to make it happen. The summit was understandably packed with a host of sustainability initiatives, all of course involving Airbus. Number one, there are hydrogen fuel trials planned at France's Lyon airport in 2023. There is work on energy efficient flights with France and the DSNA, the French air navigation service provider. There's the City Airbus Next Gen, an electric air taxi. It's the Airbus solution for air mobility, urban air mobility. It wants to fly the prototype in 2023. Then there was the extra performing wing demo project, where the wing is capable of changing its shape automatically in flight to improve efficiency. Now, Airbus has resolved to be part of the solution of decarbonising the aerospace industry. That means, eventually, stopping the burning of fossil-based fuels and stopping the production of aircraft powered by them. Airbus will be at the epicentre of an industrial transformation, no, revolution, never seen before in peacetime.
Well, that was Mark Pilling reporting from Toulouse. Now, we're heading to Africa, where IATA called on the government of Ethiopia to continue its focus on maintaining efficient air connectivity amid the COVID-19 crisis and help lead industry and economic recovery. Its regional vice president for Africa, Kamil Al-Awadi, praised the airline for its uninterrupted service during the pandemic, but he also met with government ministers to push home some important messages on a need to change. Our regional correspondent, Kaleyesus Bekele, joins us now. So, Kaleyesus, tell us about that. What's happening?
Mr. Kamil said his predominant reason to this visit, the reason that he visited Addis, is to congratulate the Ethiopian government and Ethiopian Airlines for not shutting down the aviation industry here and to continue providing air connectivity during the pandemic. As you know, Alan, Ethiopian Airlines did not suspend its air transport operation during this difficult time when most airlines suspended flights and airports were closed. Ethiopian airport did not suspend operation for a second.
Yeah, but there were some things that Kamil was not so happy about.
Mr. Kamil said Ethiopia is expected to digitalize the health certificate process by using the AU travel pass or the IATA travel pass. So that is one of his recommendations. The other one, and probably the most important issue, is the issue of blocked funds. As you know, airlines blocked funds in Africa is a critical issue that has been going on in the past few years. And Ethiopia has foreign airlines blocked funds. As Kamil said, it's about close to $60 million airlines there is a blocked fund amounting to $60 million. So there are about 13 foreign airlines flying to Addis Ababa, including Emirates, Qatar Airways, Lufthansa, Kenya Airways, Turkish Airlines are among Fly Dubai are among the list of foreign airlines flying to Addis Ababa. So Mr. Kamil said the issue of blocked funds. This might affect Ethiopia in the long run because he said aviation is very important and critical air transport service for Ethiopia because Ethiopia is a landlocked country. Since it's a landlocked country, it heavily relies on aviation. So it has a successful airline, it's true, and Ethiopian demonstrated a resilience in providing air connectivity during this challenging time. But if the issue of blocked funds, unless it's resolved, it may have a reciprocal impact on Ethiopian Airlines.
Okay, so this is really part of this whole freeing up of things, isn't it? You talk about the risks to Ethiopia as a landlocked country. And I think one of those other recommendations has been with SATM as well. I mean, Ethiopia quite happily agreed to SATM. Indeed, it was signed in Addis, but they're not implementing it. Why is that?
So I asked Kamil if there is any hope under his leadership now, if there is any hope that African states will open up their skies. Kamil said he will organize a meeting with the AU and AFRA and AFCAC. He will have meetings, more meetings, and by 2022, real concrete measures countries should start taking concrete measures next year.
Yeah, well, thanks, Kaleyesus. We've heard all of this before, of course, and again, it's words, lots of words and no actions. It really does need a country like Ethiopia to actually start the process and make others follow. Kaleyesus, thank you again for joining us on the programme.
Let's stick to East Africa. Our MRO editor, Chuck Grieve, has news of an independent MRO succeeding in parts of Africa where others have failed to tread.
Ella, we don't hear much about the MRO industry in East Africa, except mainly from Ethiopia, where Ethiopian Airlines, and that includes its engineering division, is the dominant player by far. So it's great to hear news from elsewhere in the region. Direct Maintenance is an independent MRO and specialist in line maintenance. They have an especially strong presence in Africa for a relatively small company. I've been speaking with their business development manager, Victoria Goodenough. Here's what she told me.
We've had a presence in Africa actually since 2006, and one of the first stations in Africa was in fact Tripoli. You'll see now that our stations are somewhat different. That's mainly due to the changing political landscape in the region. But we do maintain 7 stations in Africa in 4 different countries. They are Nairobi, Dar es Salaam, Entebbe, Mombasa, Zanzibar, Kilimanjaro, and Lusaka. And 2 years ago, Direct Maintenance was actually acquired by Magnetic MRO Group. So that's quite recent. And they wanted to take on board an established line maintenance organization and the experience that came with it. So nowadays, the full network is 21 stations. And as I said, a third of them are in Africa.
Yes, and they're actually clustered in East Africa.
That's right, Chuck. The reason for this is mainly due to customer demand. So at the time when these bases were opened, our largest customer at that time had a particular demand for East Africa, and the growth came off the back of that. Likewise, there was a demand for a presence in Mombasa to cater for the tourism that was taking place there, and that's when Direct Maintenance East Africa was established.
Ah, that makes sense. Let's talk about China Southern. You recently expanded your contract to provide them with full technical handling in Nairobi. How significant is this for Direct Maintenance?
Well, it's highly significant for us as a company. So China Southern is the first Chinese carrier that we will have a full service handling agreement for across any station in our network. So it's significant in that respect, but also it's very significant in the fact that it shows how the relationship has grown with that customer. The COVID-19 pandemic brought challenges for them. We listened, we responded, and we came up with solutions that fitted their needs. And it's really testament to the people that serve that customer in Nairobi and the relationship that they've developed, not just from a commercial perspective, but also on the ground.
We all know that one of the constant challenges in MRO is finding enough skilled technicians. How are you managing that?
So when the organisation was set up in Nairobi and Mombasa, there was also a Part 147 training organisation developed in order to train locals to help with the demand that we had and to employ local people. And that continues even to this day. Also, we're supporting other partners in Africa, even competitors, in training people and providing that service. So that's really a cornerstone. But more recently than that, the COVID-19 pandemic has given us opportunity to perform even more training, to give our employees, when they've had lay time because the demand has dropped, to increase their knowledge, to cross-train on new aircraft types, and do that online training. It's been a huge opportunity for us.
Well, thanks, Victoria. The development of training is so important to the continent. So that's one company I think we can expect to hear more about. Back to you in the studio, Ella.
Well, thanks, Chuck. Well, that's all we have time for today. Alan?
Well, there's going to be quite a bit happening over the next couple of weeks. Mark Pilling will be going to the World Routes event in Milan. We'll be covering the world of business aviation when MBAA gets going in Las Vegas. And Chuck Grieve will be looking at MRO in Morocco. And me, I'll be in New Delhi. So join us again in 2 weeks to catch up on all the highlights from there. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye and safe travels.
How do we achieve ultimate defense interoperability? Inspired by Vision 2030, we are introducing the first of its kind, the World Defense Show. Integrating land, air, sea, satellite, and security.